with 2 million residents in our county, 15 towns and cities, going all the way from Palo Alto and Stanford on one end, Milpitas on the other. It's like a Y. It goes all the way down to Morgan Hill, San Martin, and even Gilroy. So we are a very, very large county, very diverse county. Over 40% of our county are actually lived by immigrants. And yours truly, I myself am actually the first immigrant serving on the Board of Supervisors, and truly honored to have the opportunity to do that. And really understand the contribution, what immigrants means to our country and to our county as well, right? And so I think with these ICE raids that we are seeing lately around the nation, folks wearing masks, no uniform, right? No ID, and go around snatching people up. And now we see even imposters, people pretending to be ICE to be committing these crimes. And that's what this country come to. What has happened in the last 6 months? It's amazing. And I predicted this, which I hate to be right sometimes, is I said in the first 6 months, this guy would have done more damage to our country in the last 4 years when he was here. And that certainly has proven to be, unfortunately, true. But that doesn't mean we lay back, lay down, and not fight. One of the first things our county did, which I'm very proud of to say, is right after that nasty election, November of that result, our county immediately allocated $5 million to provide the resources needed to fight for these folks who needs to be able to have legal representation against all these ICE and all these raids. And that budget has actually gone up even further. And because of what we did, the state of California and many jurisdictions has followed suit to do that exact same thing. Because what we found is that folks who have legal representation in immigration court, over 90% of them actually get to stay. That's the difference for having legal representation and not. And this is what this country is about, right? To emphasize that issue is our county is really the safety net to support these work, and we will absolutely not allow and ever cooperate with these type of national ICE raids that we talk about. One thing we are really important that we're focused on is elections, right? It's about elections. This year, do we have elections? Well, in Virginia, there's election. In New Jersey, there's election. And there's election all over the country. That's so important. I just want to thank PDC for adopting another city, right? Adopt another place, another state, because these are the type of work that we could do to help change those outcomes. And even locally, right here, thanks to Larry Stone, boo, who has now suddenly resigned, and now we got election coming in November. So for the assessor, and I believe two of the candidates are here, Nisa Flygor, who we just saw, I saw Yan Zhao, and we have some good Democrats running, so I just want to say thank them for stepping up to do this important work. But at the same time, because of the HR1, the bad, ugly bill that was just passed by a few votes, we are going to lose, this county is going to lose probably $1 billion on Medicaid funding. Yeah. $1 billion. Now, we have a huge budget. Our county's budget of what, 13.6 billion, right, Joe? We could find 20 million somewhere if we need it. And we have done that many times. You cannot find 1,000 million anywhere, right? This is just not doable. And that's why it's so important that we need to find new funding. But the only way we could get funding from the county's point of view is what? We have to do taxes. And that's why we're actually looking at putting a sales tax measure up in this November election, the same time the assessors race is on, so that first we're not going to waste another $13 million to run a race, but at the same time to see if this is something that the voters might be able to help us out, understand the impact we're dealing with. This past April, we just bought the 4th hospital, Regional Medical Center. Yes? Yeah. And that purchase has been so successful that we thought it would take about a year. It took us only about 3 months. We get to the census we expect to get in the year. That tells you how important that services is. We reinstated the trauma level 2 service, which is something that's been gone for a year. Strokes and heart attack services. These are absolutely life-saving services. And this is what the county actually does to help save people's lives. People sometimes, oh, I got Kaiser, I go to El Camino, it doesn't matter to me. Well, guess what? We're the only one that's got trauma level 1, south of Stanford. So if you got into something bad, I hope you never do, we are all you've got. So we absolutely serve every resident of our county. And so I think this is the message we let people know, is that we really need to stick together on this one to make sure that our county safety net is being protected. Yes, thank you. Now, let's talk about the other big races coming up. Of course, we need to work hard to take back the House in 2026. And I'm not talking about, let's do 4 seats, we'll get a House back. Let's look at 40 seats, 4-0. And I think it's very much doable because of the fact that how things are going so far to the right, that I think the pendulum, as history has shown, has swung back. And what I think is really important is when we see some of the other congressional races that took place in the last few months, even though there are districts that voted plus 30 for Donald Trump, by the time election comes, they were only plus 12 to plus 15. So what that means is the pendulum has already started swinging. We just need to make sure that it keeps going. And that's why it is so important for all of us to be working hard, doing those postcards, traveling to locations, calling folks. These are the hard work that we have to do to convince folks one-on-one to let them know that this is really important and that they need to show up. As we know, midterm elections, the turnout usually is fairly low, right? Yeah. And what we want to make sure is that if it's kind of low, let's make sure our voters show up. Because if our voters show up, that's how we're gonna win elections, right?
Yeah.
So GOTV, get out the votes. I think this is very much doable that we can win back the House. The other thing that's disgusting, if you've heard the news, Texas is trying to redistrict in the middle of 10-year term, right? Trying to come up with 5 more seats in the state of Texas. I hope it doesn't happen, but of course, that's the corollary as well. Is California doing the same thing? You can play that game, we can play that game too, right? I don't believe that's necessary democracy. There's not a way of gerrymandering the district. It's really the right way to do things. But at the end of the day, I think this is the type of fight that we'll be seeing for many, many months to come. And so at the very least right now, I can tell you from the county's point of view, the Congress right now is not doing much to stop these crazy executive orders. So the only thing we can resort to is the courts. And this is why our county, I'm very proud to say that our county council's office is one of the few counties that actually has the ability to do what we call affirmative litigation. Not just wait for somebody to sue us to defend us, but actually filing lawsuits to say that, hey, this is unconstitutional. Hey, this is unacceptable. And we are going to fight every one of these cases, getting the temporary restraining order, preliminary injunction from lower courts, and fight it all the way to Supreme Court. Now, Supreme Court has not been very helpful either, but at least we are fighting every step of the way. So I really want to say thank you for being here, and thank you for coming out on that All Kings Day. Yes? How many of you were out there? Marching? Yes? Speaking, right? And really getting out. And I just quote, looking at how many people, how much passion, how many kids, how many adults, everybody coming out that one day really give me hope of the people's power. Because as Cory Booker says, people's power is always greater than the power, the people in power, right? So let's make sure we get our people's power going. Let's take back the House because we're gonna work really hard to make sure 2028 will not be a bad year for us. Thank you very much.